Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. As soon as he left, the two women laughed out loud. Within minutes, they heard the water running in the tub. I have to admit, Laura, you were right about him. You did a great job with his hair and makeup, too. He is so handsome. I thought you finally agreed with what I had been thinking about him. When I realized that you had also figured it out, I couldn't stop myself. I just had to give a full makeover a try. It was a lot of fun to change him. What about Carolyn? What's she going to say? Kay asked. I don't know. Laura thought about it. I don't think she'll be totally against it, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. The women laughed again. Suddenly they heard the water stop. It's time to go back to work, Laura said. The women then went up the stairs to choose clothes for Mark to try on in the guest room. When Mark went into the guest room, he saw several pieces of clothes spread out on the bed. Try on some pants first, and when you find some that fit, Kay told Mark. He sat on the edge of the bed and put on a pair of black pants with a pretty floral lace trim. After making sure they fit well, he reached for the matching bustier, Kay said. She then grabbed a pretty silk camisole. Mark put the camisole over his raised arms, smoothing it around his hips and tiny waist. She then held up a few dresses and put a few on the bed. Okay, honey, it's your choice. Mark's eyes were wide as he chose a lavender dress with a layered skirt and a bodice with straps. The front of the skirt was cut to just above the knee, while the back was cut at an angle to almost reach the calf. Kay put on the dress, zipped it up in the back, and then put the matching 3-inch high heels in front of Mark. Mark put his foot in the shoes. Then Laura fussed with his hair, picking out the curls and fluffing them up with a pick as she sprayed them. After that, Laura put a little bit of perfume behind each ear. Kay and Laura were both amazed by how he looked. He looked like he was going to prom. Kay said, I think this dress will work fine. And then she told Mark to stand on a stool so she could check how the dress fit. Kay fussed with the dress, and Mark stood there like he was told. The door flew open all at once. Carolyn yelled, Hey, I thought I was the one getting fitted today, as she rushed into the room. After that, Carolyn stood next to Mark and looked at Kay and Laura. She didn't look like she knew him. She asked, Aren't you going to introduce me? Laura and Kay both had a good laugh. It's your best friend, Marcy, Laura said, emphasizing the first part of the name to give Carolyn a hint. Mark. Carolyn's jaw dropped. Are you really like that? Mark answered in a soft voice. Yes, but he was nervous. Carolyn grinned and then laughed. My God, I don't think it's true. You look like a prom queen. Okay, she said with a sarcastic smile. When I asked you to tell Mark to pick out some dresses to try on, I'm sure you didn't think I meant for him to try them on. Now let's hear an explanation, and this better be good. Kay and Laura started to leave the room. Oh no! Nobody leaves. I have a feeling that everyone will have something to say about this, and I want every detail. Laura and Kay told Carolyn how their playful jokes of Mark had turned into a plan to see if he would let them dress him up. Carolyn listened carefully while watching Mark's reactions. Well, Mark, from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like you put up much of a fight. I didn't think I had much of a choice, and everything happened so quickly. Mark tried to make an excuse, but it was a weak one. Oh my goodness, Laura said as Kay rolled her eyes. You spent 2 hours being permed, styled, manicured, powdered, and perfumed, and then tried on this pretty dress and these lovely high heels. Was all fake? Oh, please, Carolyn said with a laugh. Marcy, you need to try again. Admit it. You wish you were in a dress and high heels. You want your hair to be curly so that you can play with it and put it up. You want to put on lipstick, nail polish, and other cosmetics, don't you, Marcy? Carolyn asked in a loud, teasing, and demanding tone. Mark shook. I'm waiting. Carolyn tapped her foot as Kay and Laura watched intently. Still waiting. Mark swallowed hard as he tried to find the right words. For God's sake, you act like a girl. I don't know any other guy who will come over and do my housework in an apron, iron, sew, do my nails, and even set my hair whenever I call. What guy does all those things, Mark? A sissy, that's who. You're more like a submissive little maid. Or when we go to the mall together, you're like one of my girly friends." Carolyn laughs. "I mean, I've been meaning to ask you, but I didn't want to scare you off and ruin a good thing." "Ask me? Scare me away and mess up something good? What are you saying?" "I guess I like all the attention you pay to me. You really care. You remind me of the perfect lady's maid. And I love how you let me talk for hours about guys, dating, and everything else while you brush my hair. I just always had the feeling that there was something about you that you weren't telling me. I guess I've wanted to talk, but have had trouble opening up." Mark raised his eyes to see Carolyn's reaction. "So we were right all along," announced Kay. "Oh, girls, don't be so hard on him," added Laura. "I'm sure we can make use of this new information. We all thought it was true anyway." "Marcy, don't worry about it. By the time I'm done with you, you'll have learned how to do everything girly." "What? Please don't, Carolyn. Oh, yes. Girl, get ready. This will be fun." Mark stood there and looked at himself in the mirror. He really was beautiful, he thought. "Well, the ball isn't until a week from now, but at least you have your dress. Now all we need to do is find you a date," Carolyn said as Mark listened in horror. "That's no problem for me. With just a few phone calls, you're good to go. We can go out on double dates now, like real girlfriends. In the meantime, you should probably take off that dress and put on something more suitable." "Suitable? Like a cute house dress and an apron. You need to do some choirs, remember?" "Yes," mumbled Mark, lowering his eyes. "Good. I'll look for the right dress and shoes for you in the meantime. I already know what will help you. I'll see you soon, sweetie." In a flash, Carolyn was out of the room, laughing as she went. Mark took a deep breath. He knew things would be different now, but he didn't know how much. Carolyn came back with a black sleeveless chemise dress with pink rose petals on it and a pair of black stiletto heels that were 3 inches high. She told him, "Try it on." Mark did what they asked, and then he slipped on the heels. Carolyn said, "It's perfect. You look like a cute little housewife." Carolyn told Mark, "Okay, before you start, you need to get a few things," as she handed him a small black purse with a long strap. "What do you mean?" asked Mark in shock. "I mean, go down the street to the store and buy some perfume, nail polish, makeup, lipstick, hairpins, and barrettes. We need to pin your hair up a bit while you do your housework, and you'll need the rest for this weekend." "But don't you have all of that here?" "Yes, silly, but now you need your own." Carolyn smiled, enjoying Mark's situation. "You'll have a list of things to get while you're there and some money in your purse. Now go along like a good girl." Carolyn led Mark to the door and pushed him out of the house. Mark took a deep breath and walked down the steps to the sidewalk when he was forced outside. He decided to go back to the corner store he had just left a few hours earlier. As he tried to walk right in the dress, the heels made a clear clicking sound on the sidewalk. He was able to get to the corner without any problems in about 10 minutes. He picked up a basket, put it on his arm, and started shopping. After finding everything, he was finally ready to go to the checkout line. He was in line when someone tapped him on the shoulder. "Sorry, miss." When Mark looked up, he stopped. He slowly turned around and saw a very handsome young man. "Carolyn thought you might need help carrying some things back." After being shocked at first, Mark shifted his weight to one heel and put his hair behind one ear with a smile on his face. Yes, Mark thought, things would be different from now on. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.